What's up, guys? This is the TBT Podcast, where we look back on old TV shows, movies, and everything else. This is my roommate, Sam.
Hey Taylor, what's going on?
I'm chilling out. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I just walked in the door and I was told I have a surprise.
Yep. So, Sam doesn't know what we're going to talk about today. I was looking around on the internet and this thing popped up, and I realized I had to watch this with Sam. Sam, do you want to know what we're going to be watching today?
No, but I think you're going to tell me.
All right. We're going to be watching The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald. To give you some context, this was a series of rental animated direct-to-video episodes produced by Ka-Chow. It's a series that follows Ronald McDonald and his wacky friends from the McDonald's chain, and we see what happens with them at McDonald's Land.
You want to know the weird thing is I literally was thinking about this. I haven't thought about it in 10, 15 years, and I was just thinking about it like a day or two ago. Because there's like this sketch from the Conan show, and he was like talking about all the Batman and Supermans. Then they talked about Ronald McDonald's, like all the different versions that they've had over the years. Right. And then I was like, oh, there was an animated show that had Ronald McDonald in it.
I remember when I was a little kid, you could buy them at the McDonald's store. Like, I got them through the drive-thru. And I literally just saw it on a side thing on YouTube. And I was like, oh, my God. And I started looking at it. They made 6 of these.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember all of them.
I don't remember this first one that I started watching for 2 minutes. And then I had to stop and wait till you got here. So,
well, I'm excited to watch this now.
Yep. All right. So we're going to watch it right now. And then we'll come back to you and see what you guys think. All right, we're back, and we just spent 40 minutes watching the first episode of The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald. What was this one titled? Scared Silly. What'd you think, Sam?
The first thing that I thought of was how much I actually remembered of this from when I was about 4 years old when we bought this on VHS. It's definitely a kid's cartoon.
It really holds up, you know.
Definitely something that it was this probably, as you said, there was a Nickelodeon production.
They did a lot of Nickelodeon. The guys who produced this, Kazoo, something like that, had also done a lot of Nickelodeon properties like Rugrats, The Real Monsters, Wild Thornberrys, Rocket Power, and the spinoff of Rugrats All Grown Up. So they're the ones that have the crazy eyes and mouth cutouts that go like wonk wonk like at the end.
Klasky.
Yeah, Klasky. Yeah. Sorry. So they did this also. Yeah. And I think they tried a lot harder on the Nickelodeon shows.
They definitely did. Well, it seems like it was about the same amount of effort on the animation standpoint. The writing on this program left a little bit to be desired.
That's true.
But it wasn't all bad. Just a lot of stuff didn't make a lot of sense to me.
So what?
Do you want to just recap the episode for people who didn't actually see it with us?
I'm trying to figure out how we would say it, but I also have the episodes up here from the Wikipedia page. I'll just read that out loud. I'm trying to figure out. So Ronald McDonald and his friends get really scared after watching some videos of old 50s movies, and Ronald decides that it's a great idea to take everyone out camping. So you have the usual cast of crew. You have Ronald, Grimace. What's the bird?
I think she's just called Birdie.
Isn't she called Birdie?
Yeah, I think she's Birdie.
We'll just call her Birdie for now. Birdie.
The Hamburglar.
The Hamburglar. Ronald's dog, Sunday, 3 chicken McNuggets. And they're not like the food, they're like actual little nuggets that run around.
They're nuggets that are also chickens.
Yeah. And then there are these 3 fur balls that run around with legs. Do they have? I think
they're called the Fry Guys.
Yeah, they're called Fry Guys, and they look nothing like fries.
And then there's another human being alongside Ronald But she's not like a real mascot. I think she's just like one of those people that they put in it to be like, we need a kid so these kids can relate to these kids.
No, it's like, hey guys, like this is the producer. He's like, hey guys, my niece really wants to start voice acting, and can you just write her a little part for me, please? Like, that'd be great. So they all come together, and Ronald wants them to go camping, and you can tell like the little, I don't know, we'll just call her Tina for now. Tika, okay.
I found her.
She like seems like she has like alternative motives to go down and have everyone camp together. So then like they go camping, and then out of nowhere it starts raining, and they all have to rush out, and they find this creepy haunted little mansion that they all go, and then they get scared because the house is like trippy.
But like before this, they set up camp like before they go to this house, and they spend like 10 minutes just hanging out at this campsite, and then they end up going to this mansion, which means like the whole first half of this movie doesn't matter like at all.
A lot of it's
well, the whole movie itself doesn't matter at all. That we can agree on that.
And so then as they're all getting scared, and they're slowly getting picked off like into different places. Like the chicken McNuggets go first, and then the Fry Guys, and then it's just Ronald McDonald, Grimace, the dog, Birdie, and Tina, and they face this sort of like Wizard of Oz face that gives them challenges to do, and they complete some of the challenges, but some of the guys get like miss the challenges and get like thrown off to different areas, and so the guys asking everyone riddles, they all fail, and then he gets to Ronald, and do you know what the riddle was?
It was like what like has no value but is worth so much. It doesn't exist, but it'll last forever. And one person can't have it, but it can be shared.
So then everyone, like, the face is getting really into Ronald's face. Like, you have 10 seconds. And Ronald is like, oh, what could it be? What could it be? And he's like, 5 seconds. What could it be? He's like, give me the answer now. And Ronald goes, friendship.
And then the big head's like, no, that's not fair. You can't do that.
He's like, what a lucky guess. I thought you were going to get it wrong. I need to figure out what to do. Yeah. Oh, man. And so then they find this, like, wire, and they follow it to this other, like, back alley. And you see it's Tika and this other little kid are like plotting to figure out how to. I don't even know what they were trying to do.
Like, they're just trying to figure out how to like keep Ronald there longer, basically. And like this kid's in this back like lab area where he's like with these TV monitors and like trying to do all these things. And then Ronald shows up behind him and is like, "Hey, you need to say 2 magic words." And I'm not sure what these words are supposed to be.
Wait, and then also, so it's Tika and the little kid that are in on it, but another twist comes, and the chicken nuggets were in on it too.
Like, everyone who got kidnapped, because they got kidnapped in this, they were all, like, in on it.
Yeah.
And so, like, then Ronald's like, hey, you need to tell me that. You need to say, you won. And then the kid's like, fine, you won. And they're like, yay, we won. And then this kid's dad shows up and is like, Frankie, what are you doing back here messing with all my stuff? He's like, Dad, I just want to be as smart as you. You didn't know this was going to be a father-son story now, didn't you? Oh, boy.
Oh, man. And then so Ronald takes this really well about sort of like...
Ronald takes it super well that he got tricked not only by like this kid, but by this other girl who's like supposed to be his friend. And like it's fine with his friends getting kidnapped.
And then they're like, we just wanted, like, the kids are like, we're sorry, we just wanted, I don't even know.
The girl was just, like, the main girl was just like, I'm sorry, I didn't think you'd, like, hang out with me unless I had, like, a big reason for you to. And, like, she's the one who invited him camping, and he agreed to go camping. Why would you think he wouldn't go do these other things with you? He's already on this activity with you.
They were like, we just really wanted you to play a game with us. And I'm calling it now. This is how the Saw movies were inspired, about these little kids.
They just wanted to play a game.
They did. That's literally one of the lines. I think
you should go out there. And then the whole thing ends where the kid's like, can I go camping with you? And then Ronald's like, I don't know. Is it okay with your dad? And then the dad is super cool with this kid, like, kind of being a psychopath and using his lab without his permission and kidnapping people. And he's like, sure, I'll drive you all to this campsite. And so they all camp happily together. And then Ronald and the dog. Oh, by the way, we haven't even established this. This is half live action, half animation. So the very beginning where they're getting scared by the movies is live action. And this entire middle section where they leave to go on the drive to camp and they go camp and they get in the house, that's all animation. And so once they're done camping, they go back through this like McDonald's play place tube system that is Ronald McDonald's house. And they get back in and it becomes live action again. And then they start watching the movie, and Ronald's like, hey, Sunday, are you scared? And he's like, no, Ronald, with a friend like you, there's no way that I'm scared. So apparently this was the dog's story the whole time, and we didn't even know it. This was a lot of people's story without me even knowing that they were focal points of this whole thing.
The dog is my favorite part. Sunday is the dog's name, just to recap. That dude, it's just, whoever voice acted him, you could tell he was in there for 45 minutes, just wanted his paycheck, and he was just like, wow, Donald.
Actually, I have it pulled up, and his name's D. Bradley Baker. Right. He's like a super famous voice actor. Like, he basically does like all the animals on almost every show ever.
Okay.
Like he does the animal voices, and then he just does other various things. And so this was just like another paycheck thing for him. He's probably worked with them before. And he's like, oh, sure, I'll do this stuff with you. Like, he's on, like, Avatar and, like, American Dad and the Star Wars show. So he's a big deal. And he has the most perfect, like, deadpan, passive-aggressive, like, I hate you, Ronald McDonald, but God damn it if I don't respect the shit out of you. Which, I'm sorry, this is a kid's show, but is it okay if we curse?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I've already started doing it.
It's fine. One thing I didn't realize that I totally forgot was a thing. This is like a musical too.
Yeah, like
we haven't even talked about that.
There's like 5 songs and it's 40 minutes. So like every like scene or two, there's a new song.
Oh God, they come so much.
It happened. It also took a while for the song to happen, the first song to happen, and then once it happened like one after the other, and it was so weird.
I just can't wait to see the Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald Scared Silly up on Broadway.
I think, I don't know if we should talk more broad strokes or like very specific things, because they're like weird specifics that are like just, I don't even know.
Well, I took some notes. I made a drinking game actually out of this.
Wait, is that what those notes are? The drinking game?
So... All right, so if you want to watch this after this, get a beer or the vodka, and here's what I have as a drinking game. So first, take a drink if they ever start singing, doing different songs. That will at least get 4 or 5 drinks or shots in. The dog, Sunday, says something snarky or sarcastic. We can talk about this right now. Whenever the Hamburglar is being a dick, because he's a really big dick.
Also, another thing with the Hamburglar, he looks nothing like the Hamburglar. He's like supposed to also be a kid, so he's not a burglar anymore. He's just a dick. He's got like that same like burglar striped shirt, but he's got like a jacket over it. And his like first thing that he does is he shows up and he tries to start scaring Grimace. And the second thing he does is he uses a bear whistle to try and call a bear over to scare his friends. But he's calling a bear in the woods to come scare them. It's
And so then the bear comes, and Hamburglar is surprised that the bear shows up.
He uses this bear whistle, and he's surprised the bear shows up, not like to the campsite, but to him, because he's the one who blew the whistle. And so he gets scared and runs away, and then the bear chases after the friends, and is like, how did you not know this was going to happen? And then, this is in the top 5 weirdest things that happen in this episode, because a lot of weird things happen. Ronald McDonald pulls a door out of his ass and puts it just down, opens the door. It leads to somewhere. The bear goes in the door, and he closes it. they're in the middle of the woods. This door is not against anything. It's just in the middle of the woods.
You eventually see that the bear, so he runs into the door and Ronald slams it shut. And then eventually you come back and you see the bear's in the mansion briefly. And then he's just like patiently waiting there.
But the bear's never even like mentioned again. He's just in the mansion, just super upset. So like Ronald McDonald has like these interdimensional powers.
Well, could you even imagine if you're in the writer's room right now and you're like, all right, he's going to have a whistle, it's going to get a bear, and everyone's going to run. And they're like, oh, how did they get away from the bear? And then one guy's like, I know, Ronald's going to pull out a door from his ass, and then he's going to shut it. And everyone just was like nodding on, like, that's genius, Bob. Bob, you're amazing.
I can't confirm that the door literally came from his ass,
well, still,
but it might as well have.
You know.
It's also, I feel like that's one of those things, like the bear thing, they didn't know what the story was actually going to be, like throughout, so they like kept dropping like certain hints or like certain stories. They're like, oh, maybe what it's going to be is they're going to separate in the woods, and this bear is going to chase them, and then someone's like, nah, we shouldn't do that. And they're like, well, we've already done this much animation, we might as well finish it.
Yeah, we got to put it in somehow.
And so like then they do that, and then they're like, hey, we should camp in the woods. I know, we'll tell Grimace scary stories. Then we've got to cheer him up. No, that's stupid. Well, we already have this animation. I got it. Ronald will walk away and find a haunted house 25 minutes into this 40-minute runtime.
And then bringing him back to Hamburger Burglar being a dick, he scares everyone again and then runs off and gets like a piñata phantom and starts running it. Like he swings it around and scares everyone. And then Ronald comes back after walking the dog or something. He's just like, what the hell is going on? And oh my god.
He's like running away with it, and Grimace is the most scared. But Ronald asks Grimace to grab this ghost, which is not something in Grimace's character. This was not well thought out from a character development standpoint.
God damn. Bob is just dropping the ball and everything.
They grab the ghost that the Hamburglar does, they pull it down, and they yank the Hamburglar who's holding this rope over a tree, like smacking him like neck first on the ground.
Oh yeah, he died.
The Hamburger should be dead. Like there's a couple other times where they should have died and they don't die. Like there's a time when they're in the haunted house and there's like a room with a phone and the walls start caving in on them and they're like, oh no, we're gonna get squished, and you think they're like gonna think of a way to hold the door back. No, they just get squished and they're compressed in this cube. And then they walk out, and then I'm like, well, now the stakes are gone. Clearly they can survive anything.
God. And then, so that's just some brief things of Hamburglar being a dick. But, so back to the drinking game. I have this, so whenever Birdie subtly drops that she's really high class.
Oh, yeah.
Like, whenever she's like, I've never gone camping before. Usually I stay at a 4-star resort.
Which was weird. Like, it didn't happen a lot, but it happened more than you would expect.
It's just like, you know, when you have one of those friends that suddenly, like, oh, yeah, I went to Cuba last week, and, oh, God, it sucked. Or, like, I went to Hawaii, and we had, like, bed. I don't even know. Like, the bed was uneven, or, like...
Yeah, it's like, just, they have, like, great things going for them, but they can't help but complain about what's happening around them. It's like, I don't go camping. I stay in resorts, and I went to France just last week. This is a tiny bird. Again, I'm getting into the specifics of this because that's my interest. This bird is talking about being in France. Like, how does she's a child. How does she afford to go to France?
She can just literally fly over.
This is fair.
Next thing I have on the drinking game is whenever Grimace does or says something stupid, I wanted to put if you want to go hardcore on this drinking game, whenever Grimace is scared. And then you're going to have to be calling Ubers for days.
That's where the ones where you don't take shots during this game. You just take sips of like a beer. Because with that and Sunday being passive-aggressive, you'll die during this drinking game. Oh, God,
yeah. Well, and the songs, too. The songs come up more than you would think. I'm on the Wikipedia. I don't see anywhere, maybe it does say because I'm skimming, I don't see anywhere where they say this is a musical or has songs in it.
If you look on IMDb, the one I'm on there, and they have a soundtracks page, but you won't know that that's like the music that they're originating. You just think it's soundtracks. And there's like, do you count the theme song as one of the songs?
Well, the theme song is just a gem.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there are 5 songs. Yeah. But in a 40-minute thing, that's one every 8 minutes.
You know what? I'm going to try and pull up the intro song right now.
Just to describe the intro song, it's Ronald McDonald waking up for his day, and the dog Sunday coming over and like pulling the sheets off of him, like trying to get him to wake up. And it's like it's in this weird live action, but also like it's still real people and a puppet, but it's this stop motion type thing where you can see like the camera moving and you can see like things jumping back and forth.
We gotta talk. Okay, I just got the theme song open.
Are you gonna play it?
Yeah, I'm gonna play it. We'll talk about the dog after, but listen to this gem. Yeah, we're just gonna let it speak for itself.
Actually, takes a while for the lyrics to get in.
Yeah. Hold on. Here we go.
Wake up. It's another day. Time to get going. Let's sleep when we can play.
Good morning, Sunday. Good morning, Ronald.
Gotta get ready to enjoy the view. Looking kinda cool, looking kinda new. There are things we should be trying, me and you. A new day's here and fun is overdue. It's getting even cooler, step into a new beat. Got it tingling inside me and it's spreading to my feet. McDonald land is changing. Everything is rearranging. I can't sit still cause it's a beautiful day. And Ronald McDonald's got something to say. Now good morning in McDonald land. Let's see what's happening first.
Wow.
Oh man.
That's also during that point in the middle where it was ever towards the end where it was kind of quiet. That's Ronald McDonald trying on different outfits for the day, seeing which one will fit him best, even though he only wears one thing forever. That dumb yellow jumpsuit.
Oh man. And one thing that we also don't talk about, Ronald is like a very big inventor. He has so many different contractions. Like he has like a Wallace and Gromit type situation. Like he has so many things that just come out of nowhere, and he makes
well, like there's another point where it doesn't add up to anything. Is like he's at like his computer station. He's like talking to these like 3D images of these characters that don't look anything like the characters that end up being there. And then he goes over to his, let me look at my like weatherometer, and he pulls out like this Jimmy Neutron looking thing, and it goes outside and it shows that the wind is pointing, and he's like, oh good, the weather's good today. He puts that down. We don't talk about it again. He just lives in like, if like Jimmy Neutron and Doc Brown like had a baby,
it would be
Ronald McDonald.
I honestly think he could be related to Rick from Rick and Morty. Like he could be his like cousin that no one talks about. Like, yeah, Ronald, still that with the makeup phase. He's still going through that clown phase right now.
Oh, Rick, I don't know about Uncle Ronald. I think he's kind of weird. That was me trying to do my best Morty for that one.
I would try my Rick, but it's not going to end up well.
It's okay. That's okay. But yeah, he. I don't know. Maybe he's an inventor, and that's how he got that interdimensional door to appear.
That's not a bad idea. I think he's just stealing Rick's tech, to be honest.
Wait, do we have any? What else do you want to talk about from the thing itself?
Here, I'll top off the drinking game. So then, whenever Grimace says or does something stupid, if you really want to go hard when he's scared. When any time the animation repeats, because the backgrounds, it's like Flintstones, it goes through, it repeats. So the songs repeat certain animations too.
Yeah, there's like, well, the song, certain parts of the song are just the same one verse and chorus, like 4 or 5 times. Like that driving song to get to the woods to go camping is the same thing 4 times over, and it's just there's nothing added to it. And you were saying it during while we were watching that you feel so bad for any parent that has kids that like these songs.
Oh God, yeah.
Because they'll have to just listen to them on repeat, and they're not good songs. They're not anything. They're just. Are you trying to find?
I'm trying to find the song.
Oh my God! It's just during that, and especially during the one where they're setting up camp.
The camp one is probably worse than the...
Because there's the driving one, the setting up camp, and then there's 2 in the haunted house. And when they're setting up camp, it's basically the same thing, but they use the same animation, and it's kind of like this this like wide shot of them like passing like in front of like this stump, and they're just saying and doing the same things, and it's not even like somewhat different. Like they put someone else somewhere a little bit else. It's the same animation. There's nothing different.
Yeah.
Did you find it?
They may have some dialogue in this. I have this car one up right now. Should we do that?
Yeah, go for it.
There's nothing like the great outdoors, and the far-flung forest is the best, of course. If you want to get close to the greenery, then camping in the wild is the place to be.
There's flowers
And squirrels.
and fish and frogs, caves and rocks.
There's lots of bugs. Hey, Ronald, are we there yet? No. There's nothing like the great outdoors, and the far-flung forest is the best, of course. If you want to get close to the greenery, then camping in the wild is the place to be.
There's flowers
And squirrels.
and fish and frogs, caves and rocks.
And lots of bugs. Hey, Ronald, are we there yet? No! There's nothing like the great outdoors, and the far-flung forest is the best, of course. If you want to get close to the greenery, then camping in the wild is the place to be.
There's flowers
And squirrels.
and fish and frogs, caves and rocks.
And lots of bugs.
Looking for a bird laying in the trees.
I hope a bear doesn't come for me. So, Ronald, are we there yet? No! There's nothing like the great outdoors, and the far-flung forest is the best, of course. If you want to get close to the greenery, then camping in the wild is the place to be.
There's flowers and squirrels and fish and frogs, caves and rocks, and lots of bugs. There's flowers and squirrels and fish and frogs, caves and rocks, and lots of logs.
So, Ronald, are we there yet?
Oh, what a gem.
All right.
And so the last thing for the drinking game is whenever the McDonald M comes up out of nowhere. So to recap, if you want to do a drinking game to this, whenever they start a song, whenever Sunday the dog says something snarky or sarcastic, whenever the Hamburglar is being a dick, when Birdie subtly drops that she's upper class, whenever Grimace is scared or does something stupid, the scared part is if you want to go hard, whenever the animation repeats, and when the golden arches come up on the McDonald's sign.
And feel free to add to these if you see anything
if
else.
you want.
Because there still is a lot more stuff, but that's what you get on one viewing of it.
Yep.
Can I talk about the very ending where the movie's over and they're advertising for the next bit? Because the whole thing, this entire thing actually has nothing to do with McDonald's. The only thing that is McDonald's related is the Golden Arches and Ronald McDonald and those characters. But they don't ever mention like eating something or doing anything. They're actually very pro kids being active, going out and seeing like the world and doing stuff. But at the very end, it fades to black, and then it fades back up, and there's a window, and Ronald McDonald peeks his head out, and he's like, "I'll see you next time at McDonald's." Closes the window, and then it fades to black again. And so it's like they forgot to advertise McDonald's in the special, so they put him at the end. And then just one more thing is they advertise the next special that they're doing, and it says, "Coming in 1999." And then I felt very dated when they said that. An all-new adventure with Ronald and his friends. It's
Yeah, I have. It's the second episode is called "The Legend of Grimace Island."
They're like talking about how there's an island full of grimaces, and I was gonna like go and find himself. And I feel like it's a little early in the series to go for an origin story, but that's just my opinion.
I was very interested when we were watching this. Like, what is Grimace? He's sort of like the Muppet that no one knows. I'm forgetting with the nose.
Promise?
Yeah.
No. What's his name? Oh, they're gonna look it up now.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. But what is he?
Cool, because everyone else has a thing. because Ronald McDonald's a clown, Hamburglar's a person, Booty's a burglar, Birdie's a bird, the McNuggets are McNuggets.
Oh, that's okay. So the guy from the Muppets is called Gonzo.
Gonzo. What was I thinking with maybe I'm thinking
Because I had said Wallace and Gromit earlier. Wait, we haven't talked about that. So the chicken nuggets were in on this conspiracy. That was not addressed at all. Like,
no, it just happens at the end where the girl's talking to the boy, like Ronald's friend is talking to this kid Franklin, and she's like, "No, you gotta be like smarter to like take him down." And the chicken nugget's like, "Hey, if it wasn't for us, Ronald wouldn't even be here." And first of all, that's not true.
yeah, they did nothing.
Second of all, the McNuggets like are acting like they're part of this plan, and we've never established this. Like, at least the girl was kind of suspicious earlier.
Yeah.
Because she's like, "Oh, I dropped my walkie-talkie. I wonder where I put this other one." So she's like been talking to this kid, I guess, through the walkie-talkies, maybe. It's very vague.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the McNuggets as a whole. Why are the McNuggets okay with this? They're going to be eaten. Like,
I think that's their thing. They're trying to plot their revenge for like killing off their cousins and everything.
Because Ronald just keeps selling their friends and family off to people for money, but he for some reason likes these 3 McNuggets.
Yeah, it's just because Birdie. Are those Birdie's kids?
Yeah, are they made from Birdie? Like, is Birdie okay with this too? Cause maybe that's why the Hamburglar is such a dick, is because he's just preparing to eat them.
Jesus,
like, maybe he was just selling them to the bear. Like, Ronald doesn't care. Wait, there's a point where Ronald's kind of a huge dick too, where it was like a cuckoo clock or like some suit of armor, and he pulls it open, and there's this hamster that's like on a wheel that's like spinning to make the gears go, and he's visibly tired. Like, this hamster's like going at it, and Ronald looks in and smiles and is like, "Oh, that's really cool," and then closes it and doesn't talk about it again. Like, like, I get we use animals to do things for us, but he just looks at this animal in pain, says it's really cool, closes it up. Like, that's a villainous thing. I am certain he is like at the point where he's going to sell Birdie to the highest bidder.
If he hasn't already. Like, so I am looking up right now on who wrote it. They had
how many writers?
It looks like 3. Oh my god, they had different writers for different
2
things.
Animation writers and 3 live action has much less screen time than the animation portion, but they had more writers for live action.
That's mind-boggling.
Do they have 2 directors too, or is it just the one?
Oh, I bet they do. Let me. Actually, I don't know.
It just says 1.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about this entire operation.
Well, if you watch the whole thing too, the credits are like 3 to 4 minutes long.
Yeah, the credits take up a good portion of screen time. So actually that 40-minute runtime is 5 minutes credits.
And it goes on. It's like an actual, theatrical released movie credits. Like,
yeah, well, they look like it. It's not. I don't think it was in theaters, but like.
Oh no, this was definitely direct video.
They like very, very specific about the credits that are in this movie. And they have to separate it from live action from animation. So that means that's just how many people were on this movie. There's so much more from this that I don't even know what else to discuss about it.
I mean, the dog. So the dog in the live action spots is a puppet, right?
Yeah, he's a puppet. And the guy inside the puppet suit is the same guy who plays Mini-Me in the Austin Powers movies.
Vern Troyer? Something like that.
And the first Austin Powers movie was in 1999. So this is his big break.
I would love to, if I met him sometime, like if I was at Comic-Con. And, he probably gets always like, "Dude, I loved you in like Austin Powers or Harry Potter." I'd just be like, "Hey, I loved you in the Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald." He'd be like, "Wow, some of my unappreciated work right there. Like, you're a true fan."
Yeah, he's in like all of the specials for the Ronald McDonald thing.
Oh god.
And yeah, he actually got started pretty late. He's like 1996. He was in a horror movie called Pinocchio's Revenge.
Oh wow.
Before he ended up in Austin Powers in '99. So it only took 3 years for him to get like his big role.
Do you think this guy gets more like recognition from this, or when he was in? Oh, hold on, I just screwed up. When he was in The Love Guru, which one do you think he gets more accolades?
What was he in The Love Guru?
He was. I just. Oh wow. He.
Coach Punch Cherkov. So I'm pretty sure he'll get more recognized for The Love Guru because he was in a suit for that. But now I really want to find a con that he's going to be at. That
start asking.
And just ask him about his time in the Ronald McDonald series.
Oh man, think about the royalties he must get from all these.
Probably nothing.
No, he probably makes bank. Hey, for nothing, not. Let me look at the view count for.
Well, but we watch this on YouTube, by the way. So I'm sorry, YouTube channel, if some legal person comes in and takes this down because of us. But this is on YouTube. He's not making any money off of it. Is there any like DVD sales thing?
I know there was VHS. Look at that. Look at this. There was.
What? 48 million views.
Yeah.
Wait, what about the after one? The Grimace one. Oh wait, no, this is
part one.
This is part one with 48 million views. The one we watched was a compilation of all of them.
Oops, shit. And the part two got 4 million views, so there's quite a drop off.
Okay, so people wanted to just watch the beginning of this, but still, a lot of people are aware of this existing now.
Oh man.
It's a sight to see, honestly. So, do you have anything else you wanted to do, or do you want to just go into our recommendations and feels for it?
Let's go into the recommendations and feels.
I'm like, if you're looking for a thing that's gonna teach your kids something, I would say no. But if you're looking for something to entertain the hell out of anybody who watches it, I say please watch this. This is one of those weird, so bad it's good, but like also kind of good. Because there's some genuine funny moments in this.
I wouldn't say there's genuine. I would say there's unintentional funny moments.
I don't know. I laughed at a lot of things that Sunday, the dog, said.
Okay, yeah. Sunday is definitely the best part of this whole thing.
Yes.
I would recommend it, but like, not for your kids to watch.
No, I guess, yeah.
Because I would be too scared that my kids would be really into the songs, and then I would have to listen to that.
Don't show it to your kids if they're stupid. Don't show it to them if they're gonna genuinely enjoy this. Show it to them if they'll enjoy something the way that you would enjoy watching this.
Watch it with friends and do the drinking game.
Yes.
And that will be just a great way to start your night. And then they'll be like, if you bump into your friends later on, and they'll be like, oh, what'd you do today? And you're like, oh, I watched the Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald. It's a great thing. It's like so underground. And
well, then after like you're done with your night, you've had a drinking game, you're going to go out and do something. You get home and you guys aren't tired yet. You can watch the second episode.
Exactly.
With Grimace Island.
Yeah. There are 6 of these guys. If all together, it's about 4 hours.
So please enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say?
I think I'm good. This has been a wonderful time, and I'm glad you surprised me with this. I got a text this morning being like, "Hey, do you want to record a podcast?" And I'm like, "Sure, I've got nothing to do today." I had no details about it, and I'm happy it happened.
Yeah, me too. Well, please, subscribe to the podcast. Have a good day, and I'm sure we'll be doing more of these later. Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.